Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. Welcome. Good to see you tonight. I have an interesting live for you today. I was in the sauna today, and for the first time, I've never ever posted a picture like like I mean, it was neck up, but I've never posted a picture like in sauna or workout or anything like that before. But I just felt like it. Anyway, I digress. I was in the sauna. I was listening to an audio book. As a matter of fact, I was listening to Go for Network Marketers, and and I leave the phone outside, right? So I leave the phone outside and I just bring my headsets in. And this guy next to me, he was playing on his phone. He was on his phone and just kind of playing around. And I asked him, I said, hey, I got to ask you, hey, Nunu, how are you? Welcome. Good to see you. I asked him, I said, hey, doesn't it get hot in here? Like, you can bring your phone in here and it doesn't like shut off or kill off. And he said, no, with the older phones, with the older iPhones, that would have happened. But now, you can bring them inside the sauna and it won't die. And I said, oh, that's kind of cool. That's interesting. So, and I went back to my audio book and that was it, right? So the guy leaves and he actually said, have a nice night. And I said, well, that was really nice. And you too as well. And he left. And I have my audio book on, right? And then there was another guy that was sitting almost across the way from me. And he started talking and I couldn't hear what he said because I had my audio set. But there was nobody else in the sauna. So either he was talking to himself or he was talking to me. So I take my headset off. I said, hey, were you saying something? And he said, yeah. I used to work for, I forgot what he said. He was an older guy. And he said, I used to work for, and we used to test products for how resilient they are with heat. And I said, wow, that's kind of awkward. That's what he does. That's what he used to do for a living. So he goes, the iPhone is going to be fine in here. They tested and he gave me some temperatures and obviously I had no idea. And he goes, yeah, so it's going to be, it's not going to affect it. But the way he said it though, before he said this, maybe I should have released it this way. But the way he said it, before he said this is what he started talking about. He goes, yeah, so when you cook a chicken, that's how he started. He goes, so when you cook a chicken, the temperature of the chicken needs to be around 165-ish. I think that's what he told me. 165 for it to cook. And this is like out of nowhere conversation, right? Like the guy leaves, I have my headset on and I hear him talking. I take my headset off and he goes, when you cook a chicken. And I'm like, okay, you're talking to me, right? So anyway, he goes, when you cook a chicken, the temperature needs to be at, I think, like I said, 165. But this is what he told me. I love the way he said it. We actually started talking for a good 15 minutes or so until it was unbearable to stay in the sauna. But he goes, but the pan you cook the chicken in, that needs to be around 400. So the pan needs to be around 400 in order for the chicken to reach an internal temperature of 165 for it to cook. And then he led into, that's how Apple is. That's how the iPhone is. The iOS system needs to reach that very high threshold in order for it to shut down, and it doesn't get to that point. It needs to reach, I think he said, I don't remember, honestly. I don't want to say something and you said it wrong. So, and he goes, it will then never get to that point. And then we started talking about his other products that he's done and stuff, and really interesting guy, right? And then he leaves, and I'm thinking to myself, isn't that interesting that a chicken needs to be at 165 for it to cook, and then the pan, the environment, the outside, the item that you use to cook the chicken in needs to reach almost 2.25 times the amount of actually the heat that is required for the chicken. And you're like, well, yeah, what does that even mean? Well, I was thinking to myself, like it's just really interesting the way he started this conversation and the way he said it. I thought it was really interesting. But the way I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of heat that we get from the outside world. Our outside sometimes feels like it's 400 degrees, right? Because we got all kinds of things that come from all angles towards us, right? Like I shared with you, job, relationship, health, all this stuff comes at us. All this heat, the outside gets to be that 400, degrees, if you would. But the internal, what actually will make you move. See, it could be really bad around you, and I was really thinking about this. This kind of hit me today really hard. It could be really bad around you. It could get really hot around you. And I'm not talking about the temperature, obviously. I'm talking about all the crap that is in your life, right? The crap could just keep coming. But for you to actually to make a move, for you to be able to actually do something about it, you gotta get that to that one internal temperature for you. It's gotta get to a point for you where it's like, yeah, now the heat is getting to me. I actually have to do something. Does that make sense? Was this guy like out of nowhere supposed to be in the sauna and talking to me? I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to be transferring that message to you. Does that make sense? You could have all this stuff around you. You could be in just a crap load of crap loads, all right? But you're so discouraged, you're so hurt, and you're so, what's a good word? You're so demotivated, deflated, you know what I mean? That you just can't even move. Like, it's not moving you. It's just beating you up. And I'm talking about me as well, right? But it gets to a point, and I was talking to a friend today too that called me after. This guy called me, get this, I know I digress, but this guy called me the last time I talked to this guy. Are you ready for this? The last time I talked to this guy was in 2002. And out of the blue, he calls me tonight. Unbelievable. And it led to this too. He had a rough time in his life, and he said at one point I just took a look at myself in the mirror and I just punched and I said, I'm done. I got to fix all this stuff. I got to take action. I got to do that. Right? And like I said, this story, like this whole thing today in the sauna with this guy, it hit me. He may not have thought that this would hit me like the way it did. Obviously, he was talking about iPhones. But I'm thinking, You know, it's so true in our lives how we treat like hardships. You know, you talk to somebody, they almost, you could see it, like they have the list verbatim to your list. Like you can line up your list of all the stuff that happened to you. Like you're like, that happened to me too. Oh my God, that happened to me. What? You went through that? I went through that. Have you ever had anybody run into you like that? I have, right? I don't know, I have, but maybe you haven't. But you're like, I went through that. You went through a divorce? I went through a divorce. You went through that? I went through that. You went through a bankruptcy, a this, a that, you know. And you connect, right? And then at the end, the ending is completely different. You may be stuck in your crap situation, and the other person may have been a winner. Have gone through it, built an empire, gone through all the stuff you went through, but he did it differently, or she did it completely differently than you did. Same list of crap. But that temperature got to him. It got to him where it made a move, or her. Does that make sense? So you can have a 400, 500 degree from you, around you on the outside, all this stuff, all this heat coming at you. But if it doesn't get internally to you or if it doesn't get inside you and just start to move you, then you and I ain't gonna do anything about it. I mean, the world could be just a chaos and you and I just be sitting here and just be like flipping through channels, whatever, right? And it's like that. It has to, I'm telling you, I love that cast iron pan and the chicken, the way he explained it, and it's so true. And that's how it needs to be for us that way as well. That's how we need to translate that in order for it to work for us, right? So I know I digressed a couple times here. I'm doing much better, right? I just digressed again. I digressed about digressing. That's why Team Money calls me Dr. Digress. That's another digression. Anyway, hopefully you guys got some love. I can't see any comments or any love or hate anybody says. I don't know if anybody's doing anything. I don't even know if anybody's on. It's kind of weird. Okay. Well, hopefully whoever's on or whoever watches the replay or what have you, you got some love, you got some inspiration, you got some value from it. Translate that heat, that stuff around you to an internal heat and use that as fuel and fire. That's what it translated to me today. And I really like that. So hopefully you do as well. Hopefully you guys get some love, inspiration, some value from this. Drop your thoughts, your comments below. I guess I'll see them afterwards, but drop your thoughts, your comments below. Let this feed grow. I appreciate you guys. Hey, I had to wear my Low Guy shirt. Come on now. Low Guy, I miss you. And with that, remember, till tomorrow when we do it all over again. Much love.